Nigeria's energy sector is once again in the spotlight as policymakers and experts call for urgent fiscal reforms to support the country's transition from fossil fuels to cleaner, renewable energy sources. A new report by the Nigerian Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative reveals that tax-based incentives continue to sustain a carbon-intensive economy. The report urges the government to realign fiscal tools with national development and climate goals. Trust TV's Nuel Samson has more.
The global shift towards clean energy is transforming economies across the world. From Europe to Africa, nations are introducing policies to cut greenhouse gas emissions amid their net zero targets. In Nigeria, however, the challenge is more complex, balancing the need to decarbonize with the economic reality of heavy dependence on oil revenues for public finance. According to NEITI, the country faces a dual challenge: declining hydrocarbon revenues and insufficient investment in renewable energy alternatives. The agency outlines three key policy directions: transparency in tax administration, coherence in fiscal reforms, and a just, inclusive energy transition that leaves no community behind. NEITI also stresses the need for collaboration with civil society groups to ensure that fiscal and energy transition policies deliver tangible benefits for Nigerians.
We have done a policy brief to our government and to the various institutions, including the Nigeria Revenue Service, on the pathways to implement that tax reform, new tax law, to ensure that transparency and accountability drives implementation, and then be able to guide our various institutions complying with the law to ensure that revenue generation accruing from the provisions of that law are well managed, and then the transparency and accountability guides the whole process.
The report identifies tax initiatives as a major area for reform. While such initiatives were initially introduced to attract investment, weak oversight and lack of transparency have led to significant revenue losses, estimated at nearly 6 trillion naira annually. Experts argue that many of these incentives, especially those in the fossil fuel sector, are outdated and no longer align with Nigeria's development and environmental goals.
There's a fraud in the tax incentives. Some company will register with a particular name. They will be given, 5 years, 4 years, tax, incentives or holiday, and then at the end of the expiration, they will go and change name and reapply. So we need to deal with the corruption in the administration of tax incentives in Nigeria.
Specifically for Nigeria, I think it's really crucial because we have the energy transition plan, which really makes it clear that we are committed to seeing how Nigeria can invest more in green energy. And one of the opportunities that we have with these incentives is that we can mobilize resources by revising those fiscal frameworks.
Tax incentive is no longer a very important factor in attracting foreign investment. And in fact, Nigeria is no longer looking for investment in fossil fuel industry. We are trying to diversify to renewable energy. If we are going to extend such incentives, I think it should be to the renewable energy.
As Nigeria pushes towards a trillion naira economy and implements new tax and reform policies, experts insist that aligning fiscal policies with environmental objectives is essential for achieving sustainable and inclusive growth. Nuel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.